Hi, welcome everyone. Today we are going to talk about our next topic, that is operating systems in computer. So let's get started. So what is an operating system? It is an interface between the computer and user. It is responsible for the management and coordination of activity and sharing of resources from one computer to another. Okay, you can got it from here that operating system, it is an interface between the computer and the user. It is not only the interface, it is a actively interface and also the sharing of resources from one computer to another. And the most important program that runs on a computer is known as operating system. We can say that operating system is the most important program because many of the application is run through that OS in your computer. So let's talk about what are the basic tasks of operating systems. The basic tasks of operating system are follows: recognizing basic input from the input devices that we input to the computer through input devices. So it recognizes the input and gives the output, as I mentioned in the second point, that sending output to the display screens. Keep tracking of the files and directory on the storage devices. It has its own tracker to track your files, where are their saves and where you gonna save these things. Controlling peripheral devices such as disk drivers, printers, etc. So it has the control of how your disk drivers gonna work and the printers gonna work. Coordination resources and jobs and follow certain given priority called schedulings. Also it has a coordination between the resources and the jobs, and the job done by your computers get the priority, like which job is going to be fulfilled first and seconds, called as scheduling. There are five types of OS. First one is batch operating system, time sharing operating system, distributed operating system, network operating system, real-time operating system. So now let's talk about one by one of each operating systems. Batch operating system. The user of batch operating system do not interact with the computer directly. Okay, in batch operating system, a user cannot interact with the computer directly, where each user prepare job on an offline devices and submit it to a computer operator. Okay, the next step is the user have to prepare their job on an offline devices and submit to it a computer operator. And to speed up the processing, job with similar needs are came up together in one batch. And if your job has the similar needs as some of the other jobs, so it can come together into a one batch and run as a group. And thus the programmer left their program. After that, the programmer left their program with the operator, and then the operator short program into batches with similar requirements. And after that, the operator is going to be shortize your program by seeing the similar requirements, which batch have the similar requirements. Okay, now there is some disadvantage of batch operating system that are follows: lack of information between user and job. Okay, it gives less information about the user and its job. CPU is often idle because of the speed of machine at input output is generally slower than the CPU rate. So the CPU must have to be work in idle condition. Difficult to provide the device priority because it gives the priority to the programs which has the similar requirement. Now let's talk about time sharing operating system. It is a technique which enables people to locate at various terminals to use a particular computer system at the same time. Okay, in time sharing there is a type of a terminal, various terminals in which a particular computer system at the same time shares each other, shares time. Okay, timeshare multitasking is logical extension of multiprogramming in which processor time is shared among multiple users simultaneously is termed as time sharing. Okay, now time sharing is a multitasking type of a program in which people multiple users share their processor time, and this is called as time sharing. So it is a type of operating system in which the processor time of multiple users going to be shared among them. The main difference between multi-programming batch operating system and time sharing batch operating system is that in batch operating system, objective is to minimize the processor use. The main objective of batch operating system is to maximize the processor use. Whereas in time sharing operating system, the objective is to minimize the response time. So you get your result very fast and quickly. So both are working to give you result fastly, but the difference is that in batch operating system it maximizes the process use to give your final result as soon as possible, whereas in the operating system it minimizes the response times. Okay, multiple jobs are executed by the CPU by the help of switching between them, but the switch occurs so frequently such that the user can receive an immediate response. Okay, in this multiple jobs that is executing by CPU control processing unit, it helps the switching of these jobs between users, but it is so fast that you can receive at an immediate response and you do not require that it got switched. Example, for example, in a transaction processing processor execute each user's program in a short quantum of computation. That is, if n number of users is present, each user can get time quantum when the user submit command when the response time is in few seconds at most. Okay, to easily understand that the switching is done between your programs is as much fast that um, uh, you cannot uh, means it is the response is very fast that you cannot see it or you cannot observe it. Okay, now there is some pros and cons of time sharing operating system. The pros are response time is less, which I talked earlier. Avoid duplication of the packets, there is no duplication of the packets. Reduce CPU time. But the cons is problem of reliability. It is very less reliable. Problem in data communication. Okay, now let's talk about our another operating system, that is distributive operating system. Distributive systems moves multiple control processor to serve multiple real-time application and multiple access. Data processing jobs are distributed among the computer according to which one can perform each job more efficiently. So you can say that the distributive operating system is used for data processing jobs, mostly like e-jobs. The processor communicates with one another through various communication lines such as high-speed buses and telephone lines. Okay, for the communication purpose, the medium is used in distributive operating system is high-speed buses and telephone lines. These are referred to as loosely coupled systems and distributive systems on distributive systems, and they may vary in size and function. Okay, now these communication lines are loosely coupled system on distributive system, and they may vary in size and function. These processors are referred as sites, nodes, computer, resource, etc. Now talk about the advantage. With resource sharing facility, user at one side may be able to use resource available at another. It means that if you're sharing something to a user at one side, so the user may be available to receive that file, means it can receive your resource, means the resource you use is also available on the other side. Speed of exchange of data by one another through mails. If one side fails, another side continue an operation. Okay. Now the speed of exchange of data by another through mails. If one side fails, if suppose a side is failed, then the another side continue an operation for the similar purpose. If we talk about if we look at our first advantage is saying that with resource sharing facility, user at one side may be able to use resource available at the another. It means that, okay, if your S is fails and if got disconnected, there is another resource available. Better service to the customers, reduction of load on the host, and reduction in delayed in data processing. So that is the advantage of distributing operating systems. Now we talk about network operating system. It runs on a server and provides server the capability to manage data users group, securities, application, and other networking systems. The primary purpose of network operating system is to allow shared file and printers access among multiple computers on a network, typically a local area network or a private network. Okay. So the primary purpose of network operating system is to allow the sharing of files and printers access among multiple computers on a network, typically on a LAN or on a private networks, example Unix, Linux, Mac operating system, NetWare, sorry. These are the example of network operating system, and their primary source is to sharing the files and the printer access among multiple computers. So the advantage of network operating system is to centralized server is highly stable. The centralized server is to be highly stable and security is manageable. We can manage the security also. Upgrade to new technologies and hardware can be easily integrated into the system. You can easily integrate new technology and upgrades to the hardware in the system. Secured remote access to server if possible from different location and type of systems. Disadvantage of network operating system: high cost of buying and running a server, dependence on control location for most of the operation. It is very costly for buying and running a operating system, and also dependence on control location for most of the operations. Regular maintenance and updated are required. Now let's talk about our another operating system, that is real-time operating system. Real-time system is defined as a data processing system in which the time intervals required to process and respond to input so small that it can control the whole environment. It is defined as a data processing system in which the time interval required to process and respond to input so small that it can control the whole environment. It can control the whole environment. The process and the response in it, it is so small that it can control the whole environment. Real-time processing is always online, whereas online system need not to be real-time. Okay. It is a contradictory condition that real-time processing is always online, whereas your online system need not to be in real time. The time taken by the system to respond an input and display of required update is termed response time, and the time is taken by your system to respond an input and display of required updates means if you input something and it's displaying your required updates, it's known as response time. So in this case, response times is very less as compared to the online processing real-time systems. Okay, real-time systems are used when there are rigid time requirements on the operation of a processor, where there is a rigid time requirement where you can't change the time requirements, no shuffling in the time requirements. So where you can use these real-time systems, operating systems. The flow of data in real-time system can be used as control device for dedicated applications. Real-time operating system has well defined with fixed time constraints, and otherwise system will fail. It is to be essential to have well defined with fixed time constraints, otherwise your system going to be fail. Example: scientific experiments, medical imaging systems, industrial control system, weapon system, robot and home appliance controllers, air traffic control system. These are all the example by which real-time operating system is used. Now there are two types of real-time operating system. Hard real-time. Hard real-time guarantees the critical task completed on time. In hard real-time system, okay, sorry for that. Say the line is got repeated. In hard real-time, it guarantees that the critical task is completed on time. Okay. Secondary storage is limited with data stored in ROM, and the secondary storage is limited with the data is stored in ROM. Soft real-time system. Soft real-time system has less restriction and critical real-time task gets priority over other tasks. Okay, soft real-time system has less restriction cause if there is any critical task to be performed, it gets a priority over the task which is going on and retains the priority until it's complete, and also it retains its priority until the critical task going to be happen or not. Soft real-time system has limited utility as it is used in multimedia processing and virtual reality. Okay, so this is some sort of an example that where soft real-time is used. It is used in multimedia processing and virtual reality. Okay, the basic difference in hard real-time and soft real-time that you can't shuffle the time in hard real-time. If there is a time protocol, you have to manage it, but in soft real-time, a task is particularly gets manipulated by their criticalness. If there is some more critical task is over there, so it gets its priority over the other task. Besides, in hard real-time, if there is a task going on, it is completed on the hard real-time. So these are the example of some operating system. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for